Hello everyone, I'm Simon Tao, a program manager on Win2D. So it's been a few months since we last gave an update for you guys on Win2D, and if you guys have been following our blog or our GitHub, you know that we've been really busy and we have a lot of exciting stuff to share with you. But of course it's good to have a recap of what's new in one place. As always, I'll have a link to any resource that I talk about at the end of this video. So first I want to take a moment to thank you guys, our developer community. We say this all the time, but you are really the motivation behind all the work that we do. And we've been really happy and impressed with the engagement and feedback and all the cool apps that we've seen you build. I'd like to specifically call out the great response that we've seen since the launch of Windows 10. Win2D app submissions to the store have more than doubled since Win 10 build 10.240 was launched. And almost 75% of new app submissions are either exclusively for Windows 10 or they have a Windows 10 version. So keep those apps coming. So without further ado, let's get to the goods. What has Win2D been up to? In short, we've added a metric ton of new and improved features since the Windows 10 launch. Back at Build 2015, we were pretty confident that we offered a reasonably good set of capabilities to get developers started with 2D graphics. But since then, we're proud to say that we've grown Win2D into a rich and mature 2D graphics platform. So honestly, it'd take me way too long to even give a brief summary of all the new features in this list. And this list itself is a huge simplification. If you really want to be masochistic and get the complete list, you can go to our team blog and you can browse through each of the release posts just like I had to do to make this slide. I do want to note that because Win2D supports multiple versions of Windows, some of its features require a minimum version of the underlying OS, which I've listed here. So the way that we really want you to think about Win2D's feature capabilities is that by now, Win2D offers basically all of the tools and building blocks that you need to make almost any kind of 2D visual content you can imagine. If you want to do something that isn't supported, you should go ahead and ask us on GitHub, and so we'll either point you in the right direction or we'll add a feature request to our backlog. Okay, so I lied when I said I didn't want to give any more details about our new features. I just can't resist giving demos. One of the coolest parts of working on Win2D is that it's really easy for the team to whip up these impressive looking demos with pretty little work. So I want to quickly show you a couple of the cooler things that we've done with the new features that we've added to Win2D. Okay, so let's go to our old friend, the Win2D example gallery. This is an app which you can download from the Windows Store, or you can get the source from GitHub. The first demo I'm going to show you is gradient mesh. Gradient meshes are a geometry primitive where you can define a quad and manipulate its outline using Bezier curves. You can also change the color. So gradient meshes are really useful when you create a large number of them and you combine them together into a single piece of content. So in this way, you can create very realistic looking images that are in fact just a bunch of vector geometry. Next, we have the famous Mandelbrot fractal. And in this demo, we are creating a Win2D custom pixel shader effect, which evaluates the Mandelbrot function and renders it. So we can zoom in all the way, and let's go to this section. So the thing to note here is that this is not a pre-rendered image. This is being calculated and generated on the fly using pixel shaders on the GPU. And these shaders are written using completely 100% standard DirectX HLSL code. So custom pixel shaders are a really powerful way for you to extend the capabilities of Win2D without having to go all the way down to full Direct3D and C++. Third is custom text layouts. Where is it? Right here. Basically what custom text layouts do is they allow you to take an arbitrary geometric region and use that as the bounds within which to render a string of text. So what we're doing here is we're first drawing the ABC text. We're then using Win2D to get the outline of that ABC text, and then we're using those as the bounds for other text. Of course, you can use other kinds of geometry like triangles. You can do basically arbitrary shapes. And last but not least, we have a feature that our developers have been asking for a very, very long time. So I think this literally was GitHub issue 16, which was filed way back in 2014 when we first released our first Nuget package. So sprite batches or sprite sheets are a high-performance way to draw many, many images to the screen. And this is something that is extremely useful for 2D video games because they need to draw hundreds to thousands of elements on the screen at once. So here we have a sneak peek of Microsoft's upcoming AAA open world RPG. Super cutting edge stuff, I know. And so obviously the artwork is, pretty bare bones, but what you can see is that it's composed of a very large number of individual image tiles, and we're stitching them together. All right, so what's next for us? Well, we've recently hit two big milestones on our team. So first, we shipped version 1.0 of Win2D alongside Windows 10 back in July of last year. By hitting 1.0, we declared all of our existing API surface as stable. So this means that we won't make any breaking changes to these APIs in the future. Since then, all the APIs we've added after version 1.0 have been tagged as experimental. This means these APIs are fully production ready, but we reserve the right to make breaking changes to them in the future if we need to. The second big milestone is that we finally caught up with the native DirectX platform in terms of feature set. As you probably know, Win2D is built on Direct2D and DirectWrite. And one of the guiding principles for Win2D was to expose everything that you could do in the native platform. So for example, on the one of the previous slides, all of those new features we added, those basically correspond one-to-one with capabilities that Direct2D or DirectWrite had that Win2D hadn't exposed yet. Of course, now we're really happy that we've finally achieved that goal. So now that we've hit feature parity, we've moved out of the sprint like crazy phase of development. Once we finish stabilizing our post v1.0 APIs and finish tying up some loose ends, we will reduce the frequency of new Win2D releases, probably to something like once a month. Basically, this is going to be on demand. So with every new release of the operating system, we will have a corresponding feature update for Win2D. And of course, we will continue to respond to any bugs or feature requests that you have. In particular, this is a great time for you to give feedback on those experimental APIs before we lock them down. So that in a nutshell is what we've been up to. As always, we love to hear from you, so please send any questions or feedback you have to our GitHub page. Until then, happy coding.